You guys, I'm going to take this eggplant wig from here to another dimension. But before I get to the pretty results, I have to go through the ugly stage, which is lifting what's underneath the color. See, when we do color correction, you have no idea, pretty much how it's going to lift and tone and what kind of tones are going to be there and what kind of tones are going to cancel out. So I ran out of the tangerine color that I wanted to use in my color melt today. So what I'm doing is I'm mixing a little bit of my Pravanna Magenta and Pravanna Yellow to create a nice deep tangerine color. And it seems to be working pretty well. Sometimes we forget that all of the colors come from the basics, just yellow, red, and blue. So if you have yellow, red, and blue, then technically you can make anything that you want. We just don't like to mix it all. But here I'm brightening up my yellow. I'm just adding a little conditioner to it to make it go further and to brighten it. So now I have my yellow formulation, my magenta formulation, and my tangerine. It looks so yummy. I kind of like to do a little swatch to see how the colors look and live next to each other, how they marry, how they blend, which I completely scrapped. I got in there and I decided to paint with my soul. So I wound up doing the tangerine on the ends and the mid shaft. I did the magenta and then I did some hits of yellow on top. And yeah, I just broke all the rules, but I love it. In competent coloring, like you never put the lightest color on top. And that's what I meant by the rule breaking. Like now you can pretty much do anything, whatever you feel. Cutting is a different story. Always remember the still blade, moving blade approach to the shear. Whenever I teach a cutting class, I always stress the importance of keeping the shear closed when you're combing the hair in between the cut. If the palm is open and the shear is open, that blade is exposed to the hair, then we can take out chunks of hair that we don't mean to and call it quote unquote texturizing, but really it's a mistake. So just remember when you're combing and palming the shear to keep the blade closed. And going back to the cutting principles of still blade and moving blade, that bottom blade where your thumb is, that's the only blade that should be moving. The top blade should stay still. Your hand shouldn't close and open as you cut. Your hand should be straight and still. Not only aesthetically does it look pleasing when you're cutting the hair, but it's keeping you from damaging your hands. And over time, any amount of years that you're doing hair, you really want to start to get into retention and keeping your hand and your body well. You guys, like for real, as I'm watching it, I don't know. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about these colors. We'll see as we go on. But yeah, I'm cutting the wig at a 45 low angle. When I'm doing long haircuts, I never cut 90 degree, because that leaves like the Christmas tree kind of layers where they're harsh layers. I like smooth layers. I like blended layers. So I always go with a low 45, and then when I approach the top, then I'll go with another 45, but never a 90 degree. That's just going to give you very choppy layers, and with long hair, it's not very aesthetically pleasing. And while I'm continuing with this cut around, I want to talk about color maintenance. Whenever we're doing vivid colors, you need, number one, a color safe shampoo. Number two, cold water for your shampoo and your conditioning rinse. If you put warm water on semi-color, which is what we have here, then you're just going to see your money and your color go down the drain. So cold water and color safe shampoo is very, very good for this. Keeping it lasting up to 12 to 15 shampoos. And another tip is when it comes to styling, instead of blow drying and really disturbing the cuticle, I prefer to let it either air dry or let the hair dry under a hooded dryer so that the cuticle can dry smooth. Colored hair is very telling. Like if there's split ends, if there's any brittleness, I mean, it is like an alarm that just sounds off. And colored hair does not look well when it's harsh and brittle. It really looks well when it's soft and smooth and giving the appearance of health. You guys, I did not do a segment of me applying the wig, so I'm just gonna pop it on. And I'm combing it over and trying to see how I feel about it. Like sometimes I like to let the hair tell me where it wants to go. And I'm looking at the highlights and, really trying to see how I want to live in this, how I'm, liking it. Is it, I'm getting there. You can tell I'm kind of starting to feel it a little bit. Now I'm starting to really like it. I'm feeling like the middle part is life. I feel like the middle part is life. See what I was talking about? Like colored hair being shiny and bouncy. Like it really gives a very good aesthetic. Like if the hair was brittle and colored, it would just read damage. And that's not appealing. Like no one's trying to get your card behind that. So I'm really liking the middle part, but the side part, I don't know. I think that's life. Yes. Thanks for watching.